This is your tea or coffee on Impact Television. Now it's time that we have our celebrity guests, yay, on the show this morning. And I'm very excited about this one because I've seen some of her movies and I'm so pumped to have her talk about the process that she, have gone through while doing them and writing them, actually. We have Toluwani Obayan with us. She is a director, an author, and a screenwriter. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. How are you doing?
Fine. Really good.
All right, great. Now, I have a lot of questions, but I'm trying to see which one should come first because there's a particular movie that we just saw as a team, and that is Ponzi, and we want to know what goes into it. But before that, let me ask you, as a screenwriter, how do you draw inspiration, especially you working in Nigeria? Have you been able to write your stories to suit your audience?
Ultimately, I would say definitely God. Because in my mind, I think God created the earth. So I think he's the greatest storyteller of all time. And the reason I also say God is because there are things that you can't really connect to in people's hearts, apart from if God shows you. So in the context, so many times I'm writing stories, I'm just like, okay, open my eyes to see what I can't see, stories that need to be told in this moment. And then apart from that, also challenges. So if I see something that's wrong, and I can't really do anything about it, I want to tell a story. Stories are it's like a superpower of storytelling. So I just go to the final draft software and start typing like, okay, I can address this, I can do my commentary on this, I can say something. Because if I just tell someone you're doing something wrong and I don't give context and I don't give a reason for you to see my side of the story, you might not change. But if I tell it through a story and you empathize with the character who has been victimized, you might change your mind.
I like that way of expressing your art. But then before we go on with talking about how your process goes, your inspiration, and how you feel when people talk about the movies that you've written. Now, I must ask you, the characters in Ponzi, how did you write them to life? So the reason why I was so excited is because I've seen it. So how did you write them to life?
That's a really difficult question to answer, but I would say I kind of entered the world.
Okay.
I don't know for anyone that loves doing anything. I think anyone that, even if you're a mechanic or you're a teacher, for you to be able to really deal with your subject matter, you kind of enter into it into a way that people that are outside can't really do anyway. So it's like I entered into the world and I lived with them.
Okay.
In the duration of the writing, even before I started writing, because for me, before I write, I need to see everything almost in the world. So I just tend to look, do I know who lives there? Do I know what happens? Do I know what the conflict is between these two characters? What are the extremes? What's the resolution that's coming? So a lot of the characters were built from a place of, I know what I'm trying to say. I know the moral argument I'm trying to push or the dramatic code. So I need different people on opposing ends of the story to be forced to interact. So they were just like an offshoot of that. If we're dealing with a society that's not really good with handling money and is desperate for money, we need a person who is going to constantly be counting days till you pay back your bills.
Yeah.
So he represented the indebtedness that a lot of Nigerians go through and the way the system isn't kind. And we're forced to live in that type of situation. Another character who seems like a savior but is going to scam you. Different.
Telling you.
So yes, so the characters just came like, these are the themes I'm trying to push, and they represent a theme in the story.
How long does it take you to write a screenplay? How long does it do?
For creative things, sometimes you can't really put a timeline to it. But I would say officially, I try to give producers, I'll say 30 working days, because the industry is quite fast-paced.
Yeah.
And 30 working days is like, they're really like Toluwani because it's you. It's because we're just allowing you, because things move fast in Hollywood because of the way financing works here. We can't afford to take so much time in developing stories.
Would you prefer that you get more time to work on your art and perfect it, and instead of getting things done very quickly?
Definitely. And I believe the industry is getting to that place. The more financing, the more hands we have on deck and things like that would happen soon. Because there are times like you see things in hindsight, and like, oh, if I just had a bit more time to sit on it and let it stew, I would have been able to do something else.
Okay. Now, When do you know that your movie is ready? I mean, you've written it, you've given it to the producer, the director. They should go and do, justice to this. But when you see it, do you think that they've done justice to what you've written, or sometimes you're not satisfied?
So far, at least, I have a good working relationship with Kaide Kasum. You can see he directed two of these films. So they're people I trust. He's one of those people. Even when things change from the script, there's usually a good enough reason, and it's done in a way that's still creative. There are times in the past when I've worked with people, and what I've seen has been like, maybe they didn't understand anything I was even doing in the scripting. So it was just either totally discarded, and then some parts of the story just jump. And it hurts because I'm like, I knew I wrote that. I knew I wrote that. Now, if it's looking as if it was not planned, I actually planned for that to not be a loophole. But it's just part of it, because if you're a script writer, once the work goes into the hand of the executive producer or the director, it's kind of out of your hands. You have a say here and there, but you're not the final say. You're not the final stop.
Oh, so there's nothing. So as a creative, there's actually nothing you can do about that.
Well, there's something like I said with Kaide now. He's very collaborative. The reason I'm mentioning him because he's a great director.
Oh, okay.
He's very collaborative, and many times he even wants to change things. He's like, okay, Toluwani, this is what I'm thinking. What can we do here? How can we? And sometimes people might not be collaborative, but they're people that even when they're not collaborating with you, they have ideas that actually work. So you're happy that, okay, this person took it out of my hand. So it's not always in the negative. Sometimes you're like, okay, I didn't see it this way, and yours is better, so please go ahead. Okay. So it's collaborative. That's what makes film so special. It's not just one person's thing. So
tell us about the movie. I want you to tell us about this lady called Life without giving any spoilers.
Okay.
Yeah, so bless you.
It's about love and redemption. And it touches on abuse in a very unexpected way. It's about chasing your dreams, and despite the obstacles, against all odds, when you have a reason not to keep going, pushing through, and then actually finding your happy ending. I think that hasn't given away any spoilers. And it's a true Nigerian story. You can find subtle themes, like, I'll just give one away. The house we used to shoot in the film for her parents' house was Lord Lugard's house.
Nice.
And many people didn't know that. The restaurant was the first club in Ibutemeta in Nigeria. So it has a lot of historical gems there, but...
Okay. All right. So when people see your movies, or when people, reach out to you that, oh, I saw your movie, and all that, how do you feel? Do you? How does it make you feel?
It's surreal, in a way, because personally, I believe that when you create a work of art, you're the first audience, yes, but it's never really, unless you're making it for yourself and for your house. When you made it, when you intended it to be seen by a group of people or around the world, you need to know how they take it, because like you and the team have watched it. There are different things that mean different things to each of you.
Yes.
So it's very personal. It becomes something that becomes part of your own life experience. So that's just always like who am I to get to have a say in what you hold as a memory that's dear to your heart? So that kind of thing. But when it's like not too good feedback, so the other side of like, hey, couldn't I have done that better? They have a point there. What can I do to make it? If they don't have a point, in my opinion, sometimes I'm like, but I have to deal with this, because the audience actually has the right to reject what you put out there.
Yeah.
And it's not always easy. Sometimes it's painful, and you just have to get to the point where I'll keep on doing this because I know I'm doing the right thing, and I'll do it better. But if it's based on opinions and you don't like it, you have the right to not like my work.
But do you find it comfortable to, go to movie premieres, sit with people, watch it together, see their reaction, and then feel it?
So far, it has been amazing. I've never gone to a movie premiere of one of my films that people are booing, thankfully. So I don't know if I would have this kind of optimistic point of view if they had booed my movie when I was there. So far it's been just like, woo, we love it, thank you so much. So far I love premieres. I love sitting with the audience because I can feel what works, and it helps me for the next project. If I write a joke and nobody laughs, I'm like, okay. But if they really laugh, I'm like, okay, I did that right. Clap for yourself.
While Ponzi was being shot, were you there?
I went on set for a couple of days, like I think 2 or 3 days. So I think when they were shooting at in the ghetto area, then also when we went to the mansion. So I interacted with the cast and crew quite a bit. It was lovely.
Was it really in Ogun State? Oh. Can you tell me?
I don't want to spoil it for those who have dreamt of going there through the movie, you know.
Okay.
But maybe Ogun State is where you want it to be. It's not really a location.
Okay, I like that. I like that. All right, so now the idea behind this movie, why? Why naming it that name? That's one. Why, okay, so before I even ask that question, so when you went on set to see how this is done, how your movie is coming to life, did you feel that, some characters did not portray how you wrote it? Because I have a particular one in my mind that I need to ask if you were the one that wrote that character to life.
Just ask.
Okay, so his real name is Zuby Michael.
Okay,
I can't remember his name in the movie anymore, but his character, Charles, yes, he was a tyrant, really. That's all I'm going to say. He was a tyrant, and his character really, really brought out, that was what really excited me when I saw that movie. Did you write that to life?
That's why I said film is collaborative and everything.
Yeah.
But the thing, I wrote Charles, but I didn't write him to be as streets as Zuby made him to be.
Nice.
Which I loved, actually, because he saw what I was trying to do there. He understood where the director was going, and he added his magic. That's the best thing. That's what I was saying. Like, sometimes people add things, and you're like, wow, that's actually better, and I like it.
Okay.
So it turned out he kept all the key things. He didn't go against character, motivation, and things like that. But he added some lines of lingo that I don't even know. Because, I'm not really streets. I've experienced some things. Like, the story came up because my brother and I lived around this street area that we had never lived in before, because we grew up in a more closed environment.
Okay.
So we had seen a bit of it, but not to the level of knowing some slangs that are really, really. And Zuby brought it. He did it. I was very happy with what he did.
So wasn't you that wrote TV Zuzu?
No, I did not.
My goodness.
It was so good. It's there.
Yeah.
It's there. So yeah.
Okay,
And I'm happy to say it. It's beautiful. That's what film does. It's never over until it's done. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's. I mean, a lot of people that haven't seen it will be wondering, what are these people talking about? What are they talking about? Now, tell us the process that went behind it. As I'm talking about ponzi. Tell us how you were able to pen that down. Tell us the inspiration that you got to creating that. Okay.
The idea for ponzi came like maybe 3 years back. My brother and I actually. I told you we lived on a street, so we were just imagining, because MMM had also happened, and we were like, what if MMM happened around that street we lived on? Because on that street we could see a lot of desperation. Everybody was just trying to hustle to make ends meet. People used to bet a lot there too, all sorts of things. There were also Yahoo boys there, everything. And everybody was lovable, everybody lived in the same environment. We also had a politician, a retired politician living not too far. The mansion wasn't as big, but so it was just like, it looked like a world that represented everything that Nigeria is, where the rich, the poor, the struggling, the hustling are forced to live in the same situation. Even thinking of the Corona period, where before maybe people could have traveled out to get better treatment, but everything was locked down, so everybody had to deal with the situation in Nigeria. That way, so it was like, how do I tell a story that tells Nigerians to shine your eye, open your eyes? People are not always what they promised they would be. We've been promised all sorts of things. Many of those things don't happen. But if we were watching the precedents and seeing how everything has been unfolding over the years, by now we would know what a scam looks like. But maybe we're not paying attention. We're too eager to receive just anything, a big payday, and we don't think about how it works. It's not just MMM. MMM is the metaphor for the reason we keep falling prey to these issues within the system. And I wanted to address that because, like, if you can, like, we'll laugh through it and everything. So that's why it's a satire. But if we can just look, we are those people in the clothes.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are Zuby, taking advantage of people who are struggling. Sometimes we are Robert, coming from wherever and claiming to be something else just so we can still take advantage. Taking advantage in different forms, basically. Or Ike now, who is taking advantage of ladies, like, in one way or the other, we're the scammers, and in other ways, we're the victims. There was no character that was just totally off.
Yeah.
I tried to do that in the story. So that was kind of what led to it. The process, you asked me for the process, right? The process of writing, I was a bit down before I could write it because NSAS had happened, and I was supposed to have started writing, and nothing was funny to me that period. And I'm always talking about God. I had to pray. I was like, I'm not inspired. I don't want to write something funny about a Ponzi or anything. I don't want to do anything. But thank God the producer, Vincent Okonkwo, was quite patient. He said, okay, I should take my time. I should get back into it. And then I knew I didn't want it to be just it's happening. I wanted there to be a narrator, sometimes breaking the fourth wall, because there needed to be so many things happening at the same time to give logic to why people could be pushed without reason into a scam, because you don't have time to actually pay attention. Too much is going on in your life. And so it was different things like that. The writing took a bit of time. Sometimes I would go over parts again, rewrite them, wrote the music.
You wrote the music?
Yes.
Nice.
But it was developed, the rap was developed and everything, but I told Kade that, can we do a soundtrack? It'd be nice if we showed the montage of the Ponzi scheme coming to play with some music and the rapping. He liked the idea, and we put it in, and he got someone to develop the beats and stuff like that. So.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I like that you're very intentional about your art, and you know, there are backstories to the things that you do, and you're trying as much as possible to, you know, tell a story the best way that you can to help people and change people's lives, and that is very fantastic.
Thank you.
We'll be playing song association. So how it goes is very simple. I give you a word, and you're meant to give me a popular song that we all know, not a made-up song, and the name of the artist. So I'll give you 2.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so let's do Love.
Jesus, you love me too much, oh. Too much, oh. Too much, oh. Excess love. Oh,
that was easy. Okay, let's see. One more before we wrap up the show. Let's do Heartbreak.
This is the Heartbreak Hotel. We used to.
Wow, I feel just so good. One more.
Okay,
One more.
okay.
Okay, let's do Telephone.
Hey. Hey.
Yes. Yes. Telephone, 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 telephone.
Is there a song with telephone in it?
Yes, there is.
Hey. It's not coming.
That's nice. So 2 out of 1. So there's a song by Lady Gaga and Beyonce.
I don't know it well enough.
I can hear everything.
But the line's telephone.
Yes. Sometimes my telephone. No, 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 no. You're gonna reach my telephone.
Nice. You threw me there.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much, Toluwani, for joining us this morning. All right. So your final words before we wrap it up.
Hi, Impact is doing amazing. And happy anniversary. I saw that where that was.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work you do. Thank you for edutainment. Thank you for making Nigeria and the world better.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much.